to the previous one. Relatively, they may seem a bit tough. Welcome back, students, to another class of Design of Pre-stressed Concrete Element, wherein we are discussing numericals regarding deflection of PSC beams. So the calculation of short-term deflection and long-term deflections. So we have two categories: long-term, short-term deflection, and then long-term deflection. Okay, we have two categories. So under short-term deflection, which we will term as delta, okay, TS, with total short-term deflection TS. It includes the deflection due to dead load, deflection due to live load, and deflection due to pre-stressing force. The deflection due to pre-stressing force. So pre-stressing force is nothing but your resisting force, right? It is a resisting force, and it will cause upward deflection. Okay, a dead load and live load will cause downward deflection. Okay, so I have written this arrow mark pointing downwards. So it is downwards, so it is positive. Okay, and this resisting force, okay, or your pre-stressing force is acting upwards. And upwards, as I've told you, it is negative. Okay, so remember this sign convention. Downward is positive, that is sagging is positive, and hogging is negative. Okay, downward deflection is positive, upward deflection is negative. Okay. So after this, we have a few cases under live load. So dead load is usually acting as a UDL, right? Dead load, which we calculate WD, right, using self weight and density of concrete, right? So that is usually acting as a UDL, right? It is acting as a UDL on our beam. Dead load is distributed like a UDL throughout the span, right? So we use this formula 5 by 384 WD L raised to 4 by EI. Okay, so we will be using this UDL as a dead load. Then suppose now you have a live load of a point load. Okay, a point load at the center of your span. Okay, these beams are what? Simply supported beams. Okay, remember, these beams are simply supported. Okay, so we have a W, okay, central point load acting on your beam. So the deflection caused because of this at the center span, okay, or the maximum deflection, okay, it is equal to WL. Okay, consider this as WL L cube by 48 EI. Okay, WL E cube by 48 EI. Remember this. So EI is what? EI is your flexural rigidity. Next, if you have a UDL acting as a dead load, okay, if you have a UDL, sorry, if you have a live load which is in the form of a UDL, if you have a live load which is in form of the UDL, then the same thing, right? The same formula will be applicable. 5 by 384 WL L raised to 4 by EI. Instead of dead load, we will be using live load. Okay. So various other cases, we have various other cases, like if you have 2-point loads, right? If you have 2-point loads acting, which are acting at a distance of A from the support, okay, they are equally spaced from the support at a distance A, then you have to use this formula WL small a into 3L square minus 4A square by 24 EI. Okay, so we need to remember all these formulas. Next, moving on. So if you have a parabolic cable, now we are done with dead load and live load. Now we are looking into pre-stressing force, delta PF, pre-stressing force. So if you have a parabolic cable, so now let me draw a beam, okay, a longitudinal section of a beam, and then if you have a parabolic type of cable in this format, if you have a parabolic cable, then the delta PF, the deflection caused by this pre-stressing force, will be equal to PL square. Okay, P is nothing but your pre-stressing force, right? This is PL squared divided by 48 EI. Okay, PL squared by 48 EI into E minus 5 E2, E1 minus 5 E2. Okay, E1 and E2 are, E1 is the deflection at this part. Okay, deflection of your tendon at this part, and E2 is deflection at this part. E2 and E1. Okay, it will be clear once you solve a problem. Okay, so these formulae you need to remember, okay, so that we are able to solve your numericals. So dead load, due to the deflection due to dead load acting as a UDL, it is 5 by 384 WD L raised to 4 by I. And then if you have a central point load, the deflection is WL L cube by 48 EI. And then if you have any other uh, yeah, any other type of loading on a beam, it will be using this formula, or else you can go by your formula, moment area formula, that is deflection is equals to AX bar by EI. If they give you any other random beam, okay, not a standard beam with a random loading, okay, if it is not a standard beam, then you can use this particular formula that is derived from your moment area theorem. We can use this formula and we can derive the deflection at any point. Okay, it may be at midpoint, center point, quarter span, any other point, or any interested point, you can derive a deflection. Okay, so we are done with short-term deflection. Now we have to look into long-term deflections. So long-term deflection, easy. We have only one formula, the delta TL. Okay, I have represented long-term deflection as this triangular delta. Okay, triangular delta TL, total long-term deflection. It is equal to long-term deflection caused by dead load plus live load. Okay, this term is representing deflection which is summation of deflection due to dead load plus live load. Okay, both of these you sum up and substitute over here. Due to loads, by small l, it is small l represents, okay, suffix l represents load, deflection caused by loads plus deflection caused by pre-stressing force, which we have calculated here, right? Pre-stressing force depending upon the cable profile, okay, delta PF into this loss ratio, okay, loss ratio, pre-stressing force loss ratio, that is what that is equal to, it is equal to PF by PI. So what is PF? PF is final pre-stressing force. Yes,
PF is initial.
PF, I think PI is initial, which is at the bottom. Okay, we'll check it. Okay, PF by PI, or it is PI by PF, we'll check. Okay, 1 plus 5. So 5 is your creep coefficient. It is usually 1.2. If it is not given, you can take it as 1.2. Okay, so this is regarding your formulas that will be requiring. So only parabolic I've written over here. If you have a straight cable, if you have a bent tendon like this, bent triangular shape, okay, all those cases we have to calculate separately using this formula. Okay, so for parabolic it is standard. Okay, for all other we have to calculate. Okay, so these are a few standard formula which will make your problem solving easy if you remember. Okay, or else you have to derive these formulas every time before you move on to the deflection calculation. Okay, so moving on, let us just check whether it is PI by PF. Okay, it is PF by PI. Okay, so as I've told you, it is the deflection caused by the loads, then deflection caused by pre-stressing force, then this is your loss ratio. Okay, PF by PI, and into 1 plus 5. Okay. And make a note of this. Okay, this is very important, wherein the permissible deflections, okay, upward deflection, this is due to pre-stressing force, and then this is due to total deflection, this is due to total load. Okay, all the dead load, live load, pre-stressing force, all of those combined. Downward deflection should be equal to should be less than span by 250, and the upward deflection caused by pre-stressing force, or this is at transfer stage and this is at service stage. Okay, it should be less than span by 300 in transfer stage, and it should be less than span by 250 in your service stage, or when all the loads are active. Okay. So moving on to your numerical. Okay, now we have usually like concrete beams, like concrete beam of various cross sections. They will be providing us with all the details that are required to calculate the deflections. Okay, usually they provide you with a rectangular section, or else they may provide you with an I section. Okay, so in the first numerical, we have a concrete beam having rectangular cross section of 150 by 300 mm. 150 by 300 mm. This is B and this is D. Then pre-stressed by parabolic cable, very important. We have a parabolic cable at an eccentricity of 75 mm at midspan. Okay, it has an eccentricity of 75 at the midspan towards bottom and eccentricity of 25 mm towards top at support section. So we have two eccentricities. Okay, we have eccentricity at midspan and also the eccentricity at the support. Okay, so we have to draw correctly using this thing. The effective pre-stressing force is 350 kilonewton. The pre-stressing force is given, capital P is given, 350. The beam supports a concentrated load. Okay, it has a concentrated load, of 20 kilonewton. So it is your WL, right? Live load, concentrated live load at the center of your span. At the center of your span, in addition to self weight. Okay, self weight is usually WD, which is, as I've told you, it is acting like a UDL. So you have a live load as a point load, and dead load is usually a UDL. Next, find the short-term deflection. Okay, we have to find the short-term deflections. Short-term deflections at center span. So they have mentioned we have to find those at center span. Okay, under pre-stress, self weight, and live load. So we have to consider what we have to consider while calculating short-term deflections. We have to consider pre-stressing force. We have to consider dead load. We have to consider live load. All of these three, considering all these three, we have to calculate short-term deflections, ST. Okay, and where exactly you have to calculate that? At the center span. Okay, find also the long-term deflections. Okay, we have to also find the long-term deflections. If the loss ratio is 0.8, loss ratio is directly given 0.8, creep coefficient phi is given as 1.6. Okay, for additional things, this data is given. EC is equals to 38 kilonewton per mm squared. EC is given. Okay, so this is regarding the problem statement. Now moving on to the solution. So as I've told you, we have a parabolic cable, we have a rectangular cross-sectional beam. Okay, we have a rectangular cross-section of a beam 150 by 300. We have a WD which is acting like a UDL, right? This is your self weight, and then this is your live load 20 kilonewton. Span of our beam is 8 meters, which is drawn over here, and then you have a parabolic cable which you can see over here. So at the center you have this eccentricity of 75 mm, and at the support, okay, it is 25 mm. Okay, so consider E1 as 25 and E2 as 75. This is considered as E1, okay, and this is considered as E2. Okay, in your next numericals or the following numericals, also follow the same convention. Okay, this side support eccentricity you consider as E1, and the central eccentricity you consider as E2. Then pre-stressing force 350 kilonewton is given, loss ratio is given, phi creep coefficient is given, and EC is given to us. Deflection due to dead load, live load, and pre-stressing force. Okay, we have to calculate. Yeah, this comes under deflection due to dead load, live load, and pre-stressing force. So when you know all these deflections, we can calculate your short-term deflection. ST, delta ST, we can calculate if we calculate all these three individually and then sum these three up. Okay. So first thing that we'll calculate is deflection due to dead load. First thing, due to dead load. So first we have to calculate dead load of the beam. So cross-sectional area into density of concrete will give you WD. So this is WD. So as I've told you, deflection formula for UDL, deflection formula for UDL is what? 5 by 384 WL raised to 4 by I. 5 by 384 WL raised to 4 by I. So that is what we have substituted. 5 into W is 1.08. Span of your beam is 8 meters, so 8,000 mm, right? Raised to 4 divided by 384. E is given, right? E is given. E of concrete 38. Okay, 38 into I. Okay, I is not given. I we can calculate, right? I is not given. I is what? BD cube by 12. BD cube by 12. So I is here. So if you calculate totally, it will become 4.49 mm. 4.49 mm. Okay, so dead load, it is positive, value is coming positive, and we know because of dead load, your beam will deflect downwards, right? So I have shown this arrow mark pointing downward. Okay, so it is positive. So next thing after dead load, we have to calculate deflection due to live load. So live load is what? It is a point load, right? It is a point load acting at the center of your span, 20 kilonewton. So WL is what? Point load, which is equal to 20 kilonewton acting at the center span. So WLL, or the deflection due to live load because of a central point load, is what? The formula W by 48 L cube by 3EI. Sorry, L cube by EI. So all these values you can substitute 20 into 10 power 3 to make it into Newton, right? Kilonewton to Newton we have converted. L cube divided by 48 E into I. So this is also positive, right? The value is coming positive, and we know that deflection due to live load is a downward direction. Okay, it will cause sagging of your beam. So this is positive. Okay, then let me just confirm whether you have understood these two. Let me know if you have understood deflection due to dead load and live load.
Yes, sir.
No problem. Others? Shubham?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Rushikesh?
Yes, sir.
Sanket?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is very easy. We know the formulas, right, which you have noted down. Just substitute depending upon the condition of the load, right, whether it is a UDL, whether it is a point load, right, depending upon that, you just substitute and then you can find out. So usually they ask at the center span, okay, usually they'll ask at the center span because we have the standard results wherein we can substitute and we can find out. So if they ask at quarter span and all, we have to draw the BMD and then we have to derive this WL formula and then you have to substitute, okay, using moment area method. So usually they ask at the center span where the usually where the slope is zero, right? The slope is zero, meaning the deflection is maximum. Okay, so we want maximum deflection, and usually it is at the center span, right? So they usually ask at center span. So we also have calculated at the center span in this numerical. So moving on, now deflection due to pre-stress, the third thing, deflection due to pre-stressing force or pre-stress. Okay, so this is due to E1. Okay, this is due to E1 and this is due to E2. Sorry, it is due to E1 plus E2. Okay, so what is this? These are bending moment diagrams, BMDs, bending moment diagrams. So this is your bending moment diagram because of your eccentricity E1 and your force P. Okay, eccentricity E1 and force P. And this is the bending moment diagram caused by P and E1 plus E2. Okay, so let me just show you in your figure. So this is E1, right? This is E1, eccentricity over here. This is E1. So you have a pre-stressing force acting at eccentricity of E1, right? 25 mm. And where is this located? It is located above your neutral axis, right? This P force is above your neutral axis. So it will cause what? It will cause sagging of your beam or it will cause hogging of your beam. Whether it will cause upward deflection or downward. Yes.
Upwards.
Upward deflection or downward deflection. If it is above your neutral axis, try to imagine.
Upwards, sir.
It will cause upward or downward. Are you sure?
Downward, sir.
Yes, it will cause downward. Okay, it will cause downward. It will cause downward deflection. Right, E1, because of this eccentricity E1, it will cause downward deflection. And as I've told you, downward deflection will consider as positive. Okay, and what is the value of that? P into E1. What is the moment caused? It is same throughout the beam, right? The force into perpendicular distance. Force is P, perpendicular distance is what? 25 mm. That is nothing but P into E1, and it is acting same throughout your beam. Right? So that is how we have drawn positive bending moment diagrams. Here it is positive, and the value is P into E1. Okay, so it is same for all the numericals. It is usually same for all the numericals. Okay, you'll understand once we solve various types. So the due to E1, okay, it will be P into E1 and it will be a rectangular shape BMD. Okay, and then for your second thing, it is P into E1 plus E2, that is at the center. Here, the deflection, your P is over here, right? P is over here, right? P is over here. the force is at here, and what is the distance totally? It is E1 plus E2, right? E1 plus E2. So it will cause what? It will cause upward deflection. It will cause upward deflection, and it is considered as negative. Upward deflection is considered as negative, and negative. So the bending moment diagram is negative. And how it is varying? It is varying in the form of parabola. Okay, the bending moment diagram which you get is a parabola. So this is also a standard result, and you can use this for the coming numericals also. So remember, first is a positive P into E1, and the second diagram bending moment is a negative one. It is hogging, right? It is a parabola with a maximum value at the center span. Okay, maximum value at the center span, that is nothing but P into E1 plus E2. P is your pre-stressing force, E1 plus E2 is your eccentricities. Okay, do not consider plus minus over here in your eccentricities. Directly add whatever the value is given. Okay, 75 plus 25. What is this value, maximum value? It is 35 into 10 power 6 Newton mm, and this value is 88.75 into 10 power 6 Newton mm. Okay, so this value, okay, this value we are talking about the height of this bending moment diagram. It is 8.75, and the height, maximum height at the center span of this bending moment diagram is 35 into 10 power 6 Newton per mm. Okay, now what is the length of this bending moment diagram? Can anyone tell me what is the length? What is the length?
8 meters.
8 meters, right? It is nothing but the span of your beam, 8 meters. So I'll write this as 8000 mm. Okay, 8000 mm. Okay, so we have drawn successfully the bending moment diagrams. So next thing, after you draw your bending moment and find the maximum intensities of your bending moment diagrams, then you have to, what you have to do, you have to use this particular formula, that is your moment area formula, to calculate your pre-stressing force. Okay, this particular formula, Ax bar divided by I, Ax bar divided by I. So as I've told you in the previous class, what is A? A is this shaded area I'll show. So this is your A. Over in this BMD, it is this A, and in your bottom BMD, it is this. Okay, this is your A, which you have to consider from your support up to the point which we are concerned. We are concerned the deflection at the center span, right? So you have to consider from the support up to your concerned point. So this is the area which we have to calculate, area of this shaded area. Okay, so using this plus or minus, you have to use plus or minus. So for calculation of this area, we have to use minus. For this, we have to use plus. Okay, so now area is done. What is X bar? What is X bar? X bar is nothing but the centroid of this particular area from the support. Okay, centroid of this particular area from the support. Okay, horizontal. So for this area, it is here, and we need to find out this. So this is X bar for this is X bar for this BMD, and this is the X bar for this BMD. Now you have to tell me now what is the area of this particular thing. What is the area of this particular A1? I'll consider that as A1. What is the area? Can you tell me? Shaded, I have shaded no blue color. That area you have to tell me no. You have all the data on the screen.
Sir, 4 into 8 points.
4 into
8.75 into 10 raised to 6.
okay, make sure you have the units equal. Make sure you have the units equal.
Sir, then make it 4000.
Right, so this has to be 4000. So I'll multiply this by 1000. Correct, no problem. So this is your area. Okay, whatever you have told is correct. Area you have told. Now into X bar, So can you tell me what is X bar for this now?
8.75 by 2.
8.75 by 2. I am telling about this horizontal distance.
Yes. Sir, 4 divided by 2.
Yes, it is 4000 divided by 2, right? 4000 divided by 2. You have to tell me the horizontal, not the vertical. Right, A into X bar. So A, as a friend have told me, it is this horizontal distance 4000 multiplied by this height. It is 8.75 into 10 power 6. Okay, so this, how much is this X bar? 4000 divided by 2, half, right? That is 2 meters. X bar is 2 meters that I have written over here. So this is for the first thing. Okay, first area. Now what about the second area? Can you tell me for this parabola? Can anyone tell me? A into x bar for the second shape. Quickly have to tell. Area into x bar. Everything is on your screen itself.
Sir, 2/3.
2/3. 2/3 or 1/3?
2/3, sir. Parabola.
2/3. Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It is 2/3. Okay. 2/3 of what? 2/3 of what?
Into 35 point. 35
Right, into the height of your parabola. Height of your parabola is 35 to 10 power 6. And what about the width? What about the
4,000.
width?
4,000.
Right, half of your total span. Right, 4,000. Now what about x bar?
5/8.
Okay, it is 5/8 of 4,000. Correct. Whatever you have told is 5/8 of 4,000. Okay, so this x bar is 5/8 and the remaining part is what? 3/8. So we are concerned from the support. So we'll be using 5/8. 5/8 of this total length. 5/8 of this total length. That is 5/8 of 4,000. Height is what? 35 into 10 power 6. So we have written for second area, for first area. So this area is considered to be positive because it is positive, and this area, okay, whatever you value simplify, right? After simplification, that value you have to write as negative. Negative because this BMD is negative. Okay. So that is what we have written over here. So this is A1 minus, because the second BMD is negative, minus this total area. Okay, do not forget to divide by EI. Do not forget to divide by EI. That is a flexural rigidity. Okay, once you simplify all of this, simplify, you will get the total deflection as minus 12.71. Minus 12.71. Minus indicates what? Upward deflection. Minus indicates what? Upward deflection. Okay, so now we have calculated deflection due to dead load, right? Deflection due to dead load is here. Deflection due to live load is here. And then deflection due to pre-stressing force is here. So now we can successfully calculate total deflection due to short term. Okay, total short term deflection we can calculate. That is nothing but dead load. All these deflections you have to add. Okay, all these deflections you have to add. So it is 4.49 plus 16.63, and this was minus. So I have substituted minus 12.71. So the total short term deflection, it is equal to plus 8.4141 mm. So it is downward deflection. Total short term deflection is downwards. So is it clear, guys? Total short term deflection. Yes or no, Rangnath?
Yes, sir.
Clear? Others? Others, please reply whether you have understood.
Yes,
I know
sir.
it is a bit complicated. Okay, in the first numerical, you will find it a bit difficult, but once you have practice, you will start solving it in the flow. Ram Prasad has understood. Okay. What about Nitin Patil? Second class, Nitin Patil.
Yes, sir.
Ram Prasad. Okay. Nitin, are you there? One more new student I see. Yash.
Yes, sir.
First class, second class.
The first class.
First class. Okay, okay. Try to follow. Please go through the previous videos. Catch up with the thing that is going on. Then, okay. Then
sir.
you will understand it. Okay. If you directly come, you will not understand. Go through the previous lectures. I have uploaded all those in your YouTube channel.
Yes.
Okay. So we are done with short-term deflection, and then moving on to long-term deflection. Long-term deflection is very easy. You have to just substitute in the formula that is written over here. So short-term due to long-term deflection, I'll write as LT. Okay, delta LT. Total long-term deflection is due to this loads. Okay, these loads consist of what? Dead load plus live load. Deflection due to dead load plus deflection due to live load plus deflection due to pre-stressing force plus deflection due to pre-stressing force. So that is what is written over here. Because it is minus, this plus has changed to minus because the deflection that was due to pre-stressing force was minus. Okay, so moving on, then loss ratio, they have directly given us 0.8, right? Loss ratio is given to us 0.8 in the question, and this phi is also given to us in the question. Substitute and you find out that it is positive, meaning it is downward deflection. Okay, so this is due to total long-term deflection, delta LT or total TL, whatever you can write. So delta TL is downward direction plus 28.47. Now the permissible deflection, very important. You have to check whether it is permissible. So downward deflection, total downward deflection is what? Span by 250. Okay, span by 250. Span by 300 is for only pre-stressing force, span by 300. But for total deflection, you have to calculate using span by 250. So span is 8000 mm divided by 250. You will get the permissible total downward deflection is 32 mm, which is greater than our delta TL, total long-term deflection. So it is okay. So our deflection is lesser than the permissible deflection, hence it is fine, it is safe, no problem. Okay, so make sure you calculate this permissible deflection and you write down whether it is safe, unsafe, or it is okay or not okay. Okay, whatever you get, you have to write down. Okay, so this is regarding our first numerical. If you have any doubt, if you didn't understand any part, let me know. Have everyone understood the first numerical?
Yes, sir.
No problem. Vinayak has understood others.
Yes,
Those
sir.
are not answered until now.
Yes, sir.
Srinivas.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Venkan Gowda. Venkan Gowda, are you there? You have lost Venkan Gowda. Okay. Rushikesh has raised his hand. Rushikesh, any doubt?
Sir, in a moment area formula,
Which one? Short term, long
moment
term?
area, the short term,
Short term, moment area. Okay, here in this thing.
we calculate parabolic area. Sir, how that 5 by 8 into 4000 came?
5 by 8 into 4000. Okay, you want to understand that part. Okay, you want this perpendicular distance. Okay, so what 5 by 8 is? It is this. Okay, this direction. This. Okay. So this is your area, and this red color dot which you can see. Okay, this is your CG of this particular parabola. Okay, of this particular half parabola, centroid of this parabola. So you have to calculate this distance which I have shown over here in red. This is your x bar. X bar.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so this is what, how much it is? It is 8000 by 2 totally, half. 8000 by 2. And this distance, okay, this distance of our parabola is 5 by 8. 5 by 8 of whatever is the total distance. Okay, and this remaining part is what? 3 by 8. 3 by 8 of 4000. So if you add 5 by 8 and 3 by 8, it will be what? Tell me, 5 by 8 plus 3 by 8. Can you tell me what is it?
4000, sir.
5 by 8 plus 3 by 8, just
One.
these fractions, right?
No,
It is
one.
1. Okay,
One,
it is
one,
1.
yeah.
So whatever we have used is correct. So it is 1. That is nothing but 1 into 4000, that is 4000 itself. So 5 by 8
Okay,
for
sir.
this part and 3 by 8 is for this part. So we are concerned from the support. So we are using 5 by 8. Okay, so remember it is a standard thing. 5 by 8 is a standard thing. How you use for a triangle, right? How you use for a triangle. What is the triangle centroid? Where is it located? It is located
2
here.
by 3 and 1 by 3, sir.
Right? 2 by 3 and 1 by 3. 2 by 3 and 1 by 3. So similarly, it is 5 by 3 and 5 by 8 and 3 by 8. Okay, for this particular kind of shape or this particular kind of parabola. Okay, so it is a standard result which you have to remember. Okay, any other doubt?
No, sir.
No problem. Any doubts, Sri Narayan?
No, sir, no doubts.
No doubt. Okay. Moving on to your second numerical. Can anyone please read the problem statement for me?
A rectangular concrete beam of cross section 150 mm wide and 300 mm deep is simply supported over a span of 6 meter. It is pre-stressed by means of symmetrical parabolic cable at a distance of 120 mm from bottom fiber and support section, and at a distance of 60 mm from bottom fiber at midspan section. Initial pre-stress in the cable is 300 kilonewton. A. Determine the maximum deflection of the beam at transfer. B. Central concentrated force to be applied to nullify the above deflection. Take unit weight of the concrete as 25 kilonewton per meter. Modulus of elasticity of concrete as 3.8 into 10 power 4 Newton per mm square.
Okay, thank you. So we have a rectangular cross-sectional beam. It is 150 mm wide, 300 mm in depth. Okay, it is simply supported, no problem. Span is 6 meters. Okay, we have a parabolic cable at a distance of 120 mm from the bottom at support section. At support from the bottom, the cable is located at a distance of 120 mm from the bottom. Okay, at support. And at the center, it is 60 mm from the bottom. Okay, at the center, it is 60 mm from the bottom. Okay, so this we will be using to draw your profile of our cable. Then pre-stressing force in the cable is 300. So this is capital P, which is given to us. Determine the maximum deflection. Okay, we have to determine the maximum deflection at transfer. Central concentrated force to be applied to nullify the above deflection. So no live load is given to us. What we have to do is we have to determine what is the centrally applied concentrated force to be applied. Sorry, we have to determine the load to be applied. Okay, a concentrated load to be applied at the center span to nullify the above deflection. So whatever deflection we calculate over here, so to nullify that deflection, what is the central concentrated force to be applied? We have to calculate. Okay, and then they have given us this unit weight of concrete and the modulus of elasticity of concrete. Okay, now this is your longitudinal section of our beam showing the profile of our cable. Okay, so the total depth is 300 mm. So your CG of your concrete is at 150 mm. Okay, and then your cable at a support section is located at 120. Sorry, it is not up to that. It is up to here. Right, this is given as 120. So 150 minus 120, that will give you your E1. 150, right up to here it is 150. 150 minus 120 will give you E1. Now moving on. What about E2? What about E2? From bottom it is 60. From bottom it is 60. And we know it is 120 from the bottom till here it is 120. So 60, that is over here, 60 minus 60, 120 minus 60 will give you E2. That is also equal to 60 mm. Now we have got the eccentricities. Now what we have to find out next? Obviously we have to find out I, which will be requiring for flexural rigidity EI. So E is given to us, I we have to calculate. Then after that we have to calculate. The first thing always we have to calculate is the self weight. Okay, I we can calculate BD cube by 12, no problem. What about self weight? Self weight is equal to cross sectional area into density of concrete. So dead load we have calculated. Then what is this formula? Dead load formula. Can anyone tell me what is the formula over here used? What is the formula that is used here?
Sir, 5 into W.
5 into
WD
WD
into L fourth.
L raised to 4 by
384 into EI.
384 EI. Right. So this is for dead load, which is acting as a UDL. So this is the formula which we have used, right? Similar formula we have used, or no, sorry, the same formula we have used in the previous numerical, right? Whenever we have a UDL, we have to use this formula to calculate the deflection. Okay, at center span to be specific. Okay, so we have substituted all the values in this formula over here and we have calculated. So it is positive. So positive meaning downward direction. Okay, so this is due to dead load. Now they have not given us any live load, right? No live load is provided to us. So we'll skip live load for now. We'll move on to pre-stress. Pre-stress. Sorry, so this is not negative. Sorry, this is also negative. Why is this negative? Why both of these are negative? Why both of these are negative? Can anyone tell me why both of these are negative? Look into this picture and tell me why both of those BMDs are coming to be negative.
So because E1, E2 is below neutral axis.
All right, 100% correct. Because E1, okay, E1 is also below your neutral axis, you can observe, and E2 is also below your neutral axis. So when you have pre-stressing force below your neutral axis, it will cause your beam to hog. It will cause upward deflection. And as I've told you, upward deflection we'll consider as negative. Okay, so because of that, both the BMDs are negative. Both of these BMDs are negative. Okay, moving on. So P into E1 will give you your first height of your bending moment diagram, and then this height is equal to P into E1 plus E2. P into E1 plus E2. So now we have to calculate area similarly how we have calculated for the previous thing, right? Divide this section into half and then calculate this area and then multiply by the centroidal distance. Similarly, calculate this area, whatever I have shaded, then centroid will be located over here and then multiply by that centroidal distance. This is 5 by 8. This is a half. So what is this half distance? What is this half distance? How much is it?
Sir, 3000.
3000, because the total span is 6 meters. So the half of that is 3000. Okay. So do not forget to include the negative sign. Okay, both of these are negative. So do not forget to include the negative sign at both the sides. So height into this width into the perpendicular distance, that is 3 by 2. That is what we have written over here. And then 2/3 of base into height. Okay, 2/3 of 3000 into this 27 into 10 power 6 into 5 by 8 of 3000 divided by I. So we have got negative. We have got negative, meaning it is upward deflection. Okay, due to pre-stress. Now, is it clear up to here? Is it clear up to here? Deflection calculation of dead load and pre-stressing force. Okay, moving on. So as they have told us, we have to calculate the deflection at transfer stage. Okay, transfer stage, we have to add both of these deflections due to dead load and due to pre-stressing force. Okay, at transfer there is no live load. At transfer stage there is no live load. At service stage there is live load. Okay, remember. So plus 4.18 minus 11.05 will give you minus 9.57 mm. That is upward deflection. Okay, so this is the deflection caused at transfer stage. So the second part of the question was what? You have to find the concentrated load. You have to find the concentrated load WL, which should nullify this deflection, which should nullify this minus 9.57 deflection. Okay, you have to find the concentrated load which is acting on the beam. Okay. So what is the formula if you have a concentrated load? What is the formula if you have a concentrated load? Can anyone tell me? Can you recall? What is the formula?
Sir, WL into L cube.
WL
Into L cube.
into L cube. WL into L cube, you are telling me?
Yes, sir.
Is it correct whatever I have written?
Divided by 48 EI.
Divided by 48 EI. So it is totally WL raised to 4.
L, no, sir.
So you mean this L is suffix.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is what deflection caused due to live load. Okay, so that is what we have written over here. You can see deflection caused due to live load should be equal to what? 9.57, because we have to what? We have to nullify this. Okay, we have to nullify this particular deflection which is caused, right? So it is causing upward deflection, right? Minus 9.57. So you have to apply a live load and you have to bring it to neutral position. You have to bring it to a neutral position. So how much you have to nullify? You have to nullify 9.57. You have to nullify 9.57. Right, so we have written opposite sign, whatever is given over here minus, so you have to write opposite, so that is plus 9.57. Now try to find out W, try to simplify this and try to find out. So W is equal to this 48 EI will go on this side into 48 EI divided by L cube divided by L cube. Right, so simplifying this in our calculator, you will get WL equal to 27.27 kilonewton. Okay, so this is the amount of live load or the concentrated live load which you have to apply at the center span to nullify the deflection caused because of dead load and pre-stress. Okay, so to nullify this particular deflection, you have to apply a UDL, sorry, a concentrated load of 27.27 kilonewton. Okay, so have you understood how we have arrived at this WL? Have you understood this particular numerical?
Yes, sir.
No problem. Others? Others?
Yes, sir.
Have you understood? No problem. Rishikesh has understood. Shubham Itekar, you have joined late. Have you understood? Shubham? I think Shubham is just here just for attendance. No problem. Then Teju Pattar, have you understood?
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Okay, okay. If you have any doubt, please let me know. Okay, in between you can interrupt me and tell me. Okay, moving on to your third. If you need a break, let me know if you need a break, or should we continue?
So break.
You need a break?
Sir, continue, sir.
How many of you need a break? Can you raise your hand, please? Don't feel shy. Even I need a break. 1,
So break.
2, 3. Only 3, 4, 5. Okay, sixth one is me. Okay, sixth one is me. So we'll take a break of 5 minutes. We'll come back at 11:38. Okay, 11:38 after 5 minutes. No problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, okay. We'll meet after a break of few minutes. Okay, students, welcome back after a short break. I hope you are with me. Yes, are you there?
Yes, sir. Start, sir.
Okay. Okay, Rishikesh, can you read the statement for me, please?
A pre-stressed concrete beam of rectangle section 150 mm wide and 450 mm 400 mm deep
450? Is it
stress
450?
400
Okay.
400 mm deep is stressed by 4 cables, each carry an effective force of 250 kilonewton. Span of beam is 12 meter. The cable is parabolic with an centrically of 50 mm. The centroid axis at midspan and 50 mm above the centroid axis at support. The second cable is also parabolic with zero eccentricity at support and eccentricity of 50 mm at the midspan. The third and fourth cable is straight with a constant eccentricity of 50 mm above the centroid axis if the beam support a UDL of 10 kilonewton per meter and EC is equals to 40 kilonewton per mm square. Estimate the deflection at the following stages. First one, PS plus self weight, PS plus self weight plus live load. If the loss ratio is 0.8 and 5 is 1.6, estimate the long-term deflection.
Okay, thank you. So we have 4 cables, okay? We have a rectangular cross section and then we have 4 cables. They have given us the profiles of each of the cables. So we'll try to draw. Okay, So this is a longitudinal section. So how is the first cable? The first cable is parabolic with an eccentricity of 50 mm below the central axis. It is parabolic with 50 mm. It is here, 50 mm below the centroidal axis. So this is a centroidal axis. Okay, so it is 50 mm below the centroidal axis at midspan and 50 mm above the centroidal axis at supports. So it is here at supports. It is here. Okay, and it is parabolic. So we have to join in the form of a parabola. So this is our first cable. So what about the second cable? Second cable is also parabolic with zero eccentricity at support, meaning it starts from here and ends over here. Zero eccentricity. Okay. And eccentricity of 50 mm at midspan. Same thing, 50 mm at midspan. So it will just change the color, take blue. So it is in this format. Right. So this is our second cable. What about a third and fourth cable? They have mentioned that the third and fourth cable is straight with a constant eccentricity of 50 mm below the centroidal axis. Okay, so it is a straight cable with 50 mm eccentricity throughout the cross section, throughout the longitudinal cross section. So this is our third cable. Okay, so have you understood how we have drawn this particular diagram? They have not given us the diagram. They have given us the details of the profiles. Okay, so first, second, third, and also the fourth one. Okay, third and fourth one are the same thing. So 4 cables having 4 different eccentricities. Sorry, 3 different eccentricities. First, second are different. Third and fourth are same. Span is 12 meters. Force is given P. Capital P is given as 250. Again, all the other required data is also provided. So we have to estimate the deflection at pre-stress and self-weight. Calculate the deflection due to pre-stress. Calculate the deflection due to self-weight, and then add those things. You will get this case. Second, you have to pre-stressing, we have already found out. Then self-weight is also found out already in the previous stage. Only add this deflection due to live load. Then a few details, loss ratio is given. Phi is given so that we can find out long-term deflection. Okay, so this is a general overview of the problem, how you can solve this one. Moving on. Okay, so this is the cross section, and then these are the cables which are having 50 mm eccentricity at the midspan. So we'll consider this as E2. Okay, and this will consider as E1 at the support. And this is your centroidal axis. Okay, centroidal axis. What is the span of the beam? Span of the beam is 12 meters. Okay, the first thing, deflection due to dead load. To calculate that, calculate the self weight. Calculate the self weight, substitute in this formula. You will get a deflection, and this is positive, so it is downwards. Next, deflection due to live load. Same thing, live load is also a UDL, right? Live load is also UDL. They have provided no live load. Live load is given. How much live load? Live load is not given. Okay, beam supports a UDL of 10 kilonewton. Here you can see it is a UDL. Okay, live load is also UDL. So the same formula will be applicable. Pi by 384 WL raised to 4 by A. Only change will be this. Okay, intensity is 10. Okay, substitute, and then this is also positive. So this is also downwards. Next, due to pre-stress, now we have to calculate separately for each of the cable. So for cable number 1, okay, this is E1. And then this is E2 for cable number 1. E1 is above neutral axis, so this is positive. E2 is below neutral axis, so this BMD is negative. BMDs. Okay, both of these are bending moment diagrams. So P into E1 for this case, P into E1 plus E2 for the second case. Okay, and then at the central span we need, so this is the area which we are concerned with. And this is the area, and the centroidal CG we know. Multiply area by x bar, add both of these, you will get the total deflection. Okay, the second is negative, the first one is positive. Then the total deflection that we get is negative, so it is upward deflection. Okay, due to pre-stress because of the first cable. Okay, this is because of the cable number 1. Now coming to cable number 2, it is very easy. Eccentricity at support is 0. Only centroidal eccentricity we have. So we have a parabolic shape. This is also negative because the eccentricity is below the neutral axis, right? So this will be negative. This is your BMD. So what is the height of this? It is P into E, right? P into E. P is given to us. E is what? 50 mm. So area we need to find out. This is the particular area which we are concerned with. Half area, right? Half area multiplied by the centroid of that. That is nothing but 5 by 8 of what? Of 6,000. Total span is 12, right? Half of it will be 6. So 5 by 8 of 6. Okay, so this is x bar, this is your area, and minus because the BMD is minus. So due to second cable, the eccentricity the deflection we get is negative, that is upward deflection. Okay. Now due to the third cable, third and fourth also both of them are same, having 50 mm eccentricity, so we'll consider both of them as 1. Okay, so this is your P into E, right? P into E, and this is below neutral axis, right? Below neutral axis, so it is negative. It is negative. So BMD is negative. Then the pre-stressing force is what? Half of this area multiplied by the centroidal distance from the support. So you substitute and you get, so why is this multiplied by 2? Can anyone tell me why is it multiplied by 2 over here? Why?
Sir, 2 cables.
Right.
3 and 4.
Correct observation. So we have 2 cables, right? Cable number 3 and cable number 4 we have combined. You have to multiply 2. If it was an individual cable, this 2 wouldn't have come. Okay, because we are combined and we are calculating for both the cables, we have to multiply that by 2. If there were 3 cables, we would have multiplied by 3. So here we have 2 cables, so we are multiplying that by 2. Okay, so the deflection caused is minus, upward deflection 14.06. Okay, so we have found out all the things required to calculate short-term deflection. So we'll calculate. So it is pre-stressing, deflection due to pre-stress, and deflection due to dead load. So deflection due to pre-stress for 3 cases we have due to cable number 1. Sorry, this is due to cable number 1. This is due to dead load. This is due to cable number 1, cable number 2, cable number 3 and 4. Okay, use whatever sign you have got while after you solve whatever sign you have got, use that sign itself. So the total deflection what we have got after short term is what? Minus 12.45. It is denoting that it is upward deflection. So what is the permissible deflection? Permissible deflection, as I've told you, for transfer stage it is span by 300. Span by 300. So span is 12 meters divided by 312 meters, convert to mm, then substitute, then you get it as 40 mm. 40 mm is the limit, and how much have we got? 12.45. 12.45. So it is lesser than the permissible thing, hence it is okay. Okay, so is it clear, guys? Is it clear? Short-term deflection calculation? No
Yes, sir.
problem. No problem, right? Same, whatever we have done in the previous numerical, same thing. It is just a lengthy numerical. So second case, pre-stressing force, dead load, live load. They have told us to consider these things. So pre-stressing force, we had calculated these three, and these are pre-stressing forces, deflection due to pre-stressing forces. And then this is due to dead load. This is due to live load. Okay, so we have considered, we have got it as positive. So it is downward deflection. So downward deflection or the total deflection, it should be less than span by 250. Span by 250 is 48, which is less than, sorry, it is not less than, it is greater than. Span by 48, span by 250, okay, it is 48 mm, which is smaller than our, this thing, 71.92. Whatever we have got is larger compared to the permissible. So hence it is not okay. So it should be a bit less than 48 mm. And we can see that our deflection is 71 mm. It is not permissible. It is not okay. It should be less than this limit. Okay. So it is failing under this second case. Okay. It is fine under the first case. But once we apply our live load, okay, once our live load is applied, the deflection is crossed. The permissible deflection limit is crossed. Okay. So I think they have to redesign the this particular beam. So last thing that they have asked us to calculate is the long-term deflection. Shubham Ittekar has suddenly become active. Shubham, yes, Shubham,
Hello, sir.
are you understanding?
Yes, sir. Sir, लॅपटॉप मध्ये मायक्रोफोन कनेक्ट केला असा असं मन बरोबर त्याचा आवाज.
Okay, okay, okay. So please, if you have any doubt, you can unmute or else you can keep your mic.
Yes, sir.
Long-term deflection, we know this formula for long-term deflection. It is due to both of these, dead load, deflection due to dead load, deflection due to live load. Okay, this term consists of both of this. And this is due to pre-stress. So we have 3. Okay, all the minus sign we have included. Then the loss ratio is given as 0.8 in the question. And then phi is also given. We have calculated, it is come as plus, meaning it is downward deflection. Okay, so this is regarding the third numerical. Okay, if you have any doubt, let me know in the regarding the third numerical. It is very easy, just you have to divide it into 3. Where deflection due to pre-stress is only tricky one over here. You have to divide it into cable number 1, cable number 2 separately you have to calculate, then cable number 3. Then add all those to get the delta PS. Okay, should we move on to the next numerical? Fourth one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Yes, Shubham, I think you are there. Can you please read the statement for me?
Yes, this concrete beam of span 8.
Okay.
8
What do you mean by SS? What do you mean by SS? Anyone can please help your friend? What is the meaning of
Simply
SS?
supported, sir.
Simply supported. Okay, continue. Shubham, you can
Yes, this concrete beam of span.
Simply supported.
Okay, okay. Continue.
It says concrete beam of span 8 meters and rectangular cross section 125 mm wide and 250 mm deep is pressured by a single cable in which totally tensile force is 250. So it's 250 or 220?
220, it is 220.
220 kilonewton. The center line of the cable is parallel to the axis of the beam and 75 mm above the soft over middle third of the span and curved upward in the parabola over the outer third of the span to the distance of 175 mm above the soffit or at the support. If the modulus of the elasticity of the concrete is 35 kilonewton per mm square and the density of the concrete is 24 kilonewton per meter cube, calculate the upward deflection due to PS. Due to first one due to PS plus DL, the magnitude of the concreted load placed on the third points of the span, which would result in limiting the short term deflection of span 500.
Okay, thank you. So we shall try to draw this particular profile of the cable. It is very confusing in words, but we'll try to draw. Okay, we'll try to draw. So let me draw a longitudinal section of the beam. This is a longitudinal section. Okay. So it is span is 8 meters. Cross-sectional area is given. Single cable. Okay, we have a single cable, no tension, which is totally having a tensile force of 220 kilonewton. P is given. Okay. The center line of the cable is parallel to the axis. Okay, center line of what? Center line of the cable, meaning the tendon, is parallel to the axis of the beam. So this is the centroidal axis. So the cable is parallel to the axis, meaning it is parallel to this particular centroidal axis. So it is going this way. Okay, it is going this way. Okay, and 75 mm above the soffit over middle third of the span. Okay, it is 75 mm above the soffit over the middle third. So let us divide this beam into 3 parts. Okay, we have divided the beam into 3 parts. So middle third meaning this part. Okay, middle third, central part. It is 75 mm from the soffit. Okay, so I have drawn parallel to the centroidal axis or the axis of the beam, and this is how much? This is 75. Okay, and curved upward in a parabola. Okay, and the remaining part it is curved in a form of parabola. It is curved upward over the outward third of the span to a distance of 175 above the soffit. Okay, so it is curved parabola. It is a curved parabola going from the soffit of the beam up to this section. It is how much? 175 mm above the soffit. So you have to join it in a curved fashion. It is a parabola. Similarly for the other side. Okay, so this is the profile of your cable. Okay, so this is the profile of your cable. Okay, at the support, the modulus of elasticity is given, density is given. Calculate upward deflection due to pre-stressing force. Okay, upward deflection due to pre-stressing force, deflection due to dead load, live load, all those things. And then magnitude of concentrated load placed at the third points. The magnitude of the load meaning WL. Okay, WL we have to calculate if we keep 2 loads. Okay, at these points WL. We have to find out this WL value. They have not given us this WL value. That is the last part of the question here. Find out the magnitude of the concentrated load placed on the third points of the span, which would result in a limiting the short-term deflection to span by 500. Okay, so we'll solve the first 2, then we'll go to the third one. Okay, so that is what we have drawn over here. You can see the same thing. This is the cross section. This is the longitudinal section. So this is not straight. This is parabola. Okay, this is not straight. This is a parabola. Okay, so this is the profile of your cable. So it is straight for the middle third portion. It is straight, and then it is curved upward in the form of a parabola towards the end. Okay, so they have provided this is 175 mm. So from the centroidal axis, it will be what? 50. It will be 50. What is this? It is half of it, right? Half of it, 250 divided by 2 is 125. 125. So this is how much? 125. So 175 minus 125 will give you 50. So this is, we'll consider as E1, and this is what? E2. 50 mm is E2. How have we arrived at 50 mm? 125 minus 75. 125 minus 75 will give you 50. We'll consider this as E2. Okay. Cross-sectional area we have calculated. I we have calculated BD cube by 12. Deflection due to pre-stress. Deflection due to pre-stress. First thing, we'll calculate deflection due to pre-stress. Okay. This E1 is above neutral axis. Above neutral axis. E1 is above neutral axis. So this BMD is positive. So this particular BMD, you can observe it is positive. It is positive, and the height of this BMD is what? P into E1, right? 11 into 10 power 6 Newton mm. P into E1. Next, regarding the second BMD, the E1 plus E2 is P into E1 plus E2, and it is located below the centroidal axis or the neutral axis. So it is minus. Okay, the BMD is coming to be minus. Okay. So the height of this particular BMD, is what? P into E1 plus E2. P into E1 plus E2. 22 into 10 power 6 Newton mm. Okay. So now we need to calculate the area. Okay, we need to calculate the area and then multiply by the centroidal, sorry, the CG from the support, that is X bar. Okay, so this it will be over here, centroidal, and then this area we need, right, this area. But remember, this is straight. Okay, this part is straight, but this part is a parabola. This part is a parabola. Because the cable is parabolic over here, the same shape will come for a BMD. The same shape will come for a BMD. This is parabola. This is not straight. It is not a triangle. It is a parabola. Okay, so calculation of this area is a bit tricky. For this thing, it is very easy. P into E1, right? P. This is P. P into E1 into this distance, that is 4,000 divided by 2 into 2,000. Okay, so this is for area. This part is over. Now coming to the bottom area. This we have divided into two parts. This is a parabolic shape A1, and then this is a rectangular shape A2. We have divided into two parts. So what is the area of this part now? What is the area of this part? 2/3 of base, 2/3 of base, 2.67 base into height. Height is what? This 22 into 10 power 6. Okay, that is there, multiplied by the centroidal distance, area into multiplied by the X bar, right? Centroid is over here. So how much is this? 5/8 into 2.67. Convert this 2.67 to mm. Okay, and then substitute 5/8 of that thing. 5/8 of 2.6, 5/8 of 2.67. So we are done with this area. Now moving on to this area. Base is how much? 2.67 by 3. 2.67 by 3, that is 1.33. 1.33. This into height. Height is 22 into 10 power 6. And centroid is over here. Centroid is over here. What is this distance now? What is this distance? So it is 2.67, 2.67 plus 1.33 plus 1.33. So this is how you can calculate the area. Both of these areas are to be calculated as negative. So we have written negative over here. You can observe negative and negative. Okay. So this is how you can calculate the area for this particular BMD. Divide it into two shapes. Okay. Parabola and a rectangle, and then calculate separately and then add them. Okay. But while adding, make sure you have minus sign for both of them. Okay, so how have we arrived at this 2.67? 2.67, the total span is how much? Total span is 8. That total span is 8. 8 divided by 3. 8 divided by 3 will give you 2.67, 2.67, 2.67. Right? 2.67 is 8 divided by 3. So we have divided the beam into 3 equal spans. So that is why it is 2.67. So delta is equals to X bar by EI. Okay, once you calculate the area, divide it by EI. Divided by EI. And then you'll get the total deflection caused by pre-stress. Deflection by pre-stress. It is negative. Negative meaning upward deflection. Okay. So the first case is over. First case is over. Second case is deflection due to pre-stress plus dead load. Pre-stress we have already calculated. Right? We have already calculated. Now we have to calculate deflection due to dead load. For that we need the self-weight. Self-weight we have calculated. Then we have substituted in the deflection formula. We have got the deflection due to dead load as plus 7.02, that is downward. Okay, so the total deflection due to pre-stress and dead load will be algebraic sum of both of them, algebraic sum. So it is minus 13.18, that is due to pre-stress, plus 7.02. So it is coming to be negative, so it is upward deflection. Now deflection due to dead load, live load and pre-stress. So the condition that they have told us, this has to be equal to span by 500. Span by 500. So span is 8 meters, that is 8,000 mm divided by 500. And this is due to dead load. Deflection due to live load is not given. Okay, so because live load we have to find out. So this is kept as it is, and then deflection due to pre-stress we have substituted. So what they have told, we have to find out the value of this W, of these concentrated loads that are located at every third point, every third span. Okay, so this is W, and then this is the shape of your cable, right? Shape of your cable will not change, it is the same thing. Okay, and this will cause a bending moment diagram in this format. This particular load will cause a bending moment diagram of this format. Okay, this is straight now, this is straight because W is also W is what? A UDL. W is a concentrated load. So it is straight. It is not a curved part. It is not curved part. So it is L by 3, L by 3, L by 3 because we have divided the span into 3 parts. Okay. So this particular thing we have divided into half. That is a triangle and then into a rectangle. So you have to find out separately for this A1 and then A2, multiply by their respective horizontal distances from support. You will get what? You will get delta. So we'll calculate now separately for each of these in detail. So up to here you have understood up to here. So the dead load we have substituted, live load we have kept as it is, and then this is due to pre-stress. Okay, it is equal to 16. Okay, span by 500 is equal to 16. 8,000 by 500 is equal to 16. Now, simplifying, that is this plus this will give you minus 6.16 is equals to live load LL is equals to 60. So this part we will calculate using this formula. Live load and then substitute back. Okay, we will get WL. So now we'll calculate using the bending moment diagram. Using the bending moment diagram, we'll calculate AX bar divided by I, AX bar divided by I. Now for the first triangular part, it is half base into height, right? Half base into height into X bar. Half base is L by 3. Base is L by 3. Height is what? WL by 3. Half base into height into the perpendicular distance, right? Into the centroidal distance from the support. That is 2/3 of L by 3. 2/3 of L by 3. So this is for a triangular part. This first term is for a triangular part. Next, this rectangular part now, concerned with this rectangular part. So area is what? L by 6 into WL by 3. Okay, L by 6 into WL by 3. This is our area. And the perpendicular distance is what? Perpendicular distance of the CG from the support. From the support, it is L by 3 plus L by 6 by 2. L by 6, half of L by 6, right? Half of L by 6. So it is L by 12. L by 3 plus L by 12. Okay, so this is the area we have calculated, multiplied that by the centroidal distances also. No problem. So what we have to do now, we have to simplify these terms, or we have to simplify these. So try to add, it is W, only one term. L is how much? 1, 2, 3. So L cube, W, L cube divided by, so this 2 and this 2 has cancelled, this 2 and this 2 has cancelled. So 3 into 3 into 3 into 3. So it is totally equal to 81. So this is due to triangle. Okay, this part. And then for the rectangular part, W is only 1. Okay, W I have written as it is. L is how much? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4. So it is 4. I think it is 4. Right, it is 4. WL raised to 4. What we have written as cube. Has one L cancelled out anywhere? No, right? L by 6 into WL by 3. Correct, no problem. Into L by 12 plus L by, okay, it is not multiplied. It is plus over here. You can say it is plus. So it will become L by 3. Correct, no problem. Divided by 6 into 3 into the LCM of this. LCM of this you have to find out. And then you have to multiply by that. Multiply that by 6 into 3. It will be 216 divided by I. The next thing, you have to take LCM like this. 81 into 51. 81 into 5. 216 plus 216 WL cube. Okay, so this is written over here, 216 WL cube, and this 81 into 5 is 405, 405 WL cube divided by this 216 into 81 is what? 174.96 divided by I. Okay, we have taken LCM, then you can simplify further, you will end up with this formula, you will end up with this thing. Okay, so this is what? The delta LL, this is what? Delta LL, this is delta LL. So delta LL we know, minus 6.16, that thing substitute over here, whatever simplified formula we have got now, 23 by 648, that you have to substitute here, is equals to 16, So So that is what we have done over here. Minus 6.16, and then this formula we have substituted here is equals to 60. So W is unknown. W is unknown. We have kept it as it is. L we know it is 8,000. E into I we know those individual values. We know we have substituted, and then we have to solve for W. We have to solve for W. Simplifying and solving for W, you will get it as this value 6,946.44 Newton, 6,946 Newton, or 6.9 kilonewton. 6.9 kilonewton is the amount of live load. Okay, amount of live load, individual live load. So this is 6.91. Sorry, this is 6.9 kilonewton. This is also 6.9 kilonewton. Okay, so this is the amount of live load that you have to apply to nullify or to have a span, have a deflection of span by 500, have a deflection of span by 500 due to all this dead load, live load, and pre-stressing force. Okay, so where it is confusing is this part is confusing. This part is confusing. So how have we arrived at this WL by 3? Can anyone tell me how have we arrived at this WL by 3? WL by 3 is not given, right? We have to find out how this WL by 3, how have we arrived at this particular value. This figure is given in question. This figure is given in question, no problem. From this figure, we can draw the BMD also, no problem. Okay, we can draw, but what about this height? How have we found out? How have we found this height? No idea, no idea. Can you try? Because in exam, this value will not be given. You have to find out this value. How much, how do we find out this value? It is nothing but bending moment, right? It is nothing but bending moment. So how do you find out bending moment? So draw your free body diagram of your beam. Right, let me draw the free body diagram of your beam. Right, this is your free body diagram. It is simply supported one. We have two loads, W and W. And what is this distance? L by 3. Okay, all of these distances are L by 3. Now, what are the reaction forces? What are the reaction forces? Can anyone tell me? What are the reaction forces? Very easy. What is the reaction force? No, you are unable to find out. It is not, it is symmetric beam, right? It is symmetric beam. So it will be nothing but W. Right? Half of this load will go over here, half of the load will go over here. So totally load is how much? 2L. So half of it, that is W and W. Right, so this reaction force is W. Okay, reaction force is W, and then we have to find out bending moment at this point. Bending moment at this point. So how much is the bending moment? W, which is going clockwise, right? W is going clockwise into L by 3. W into L by 3. That is what is WL by 3, which is written over here. Okay, have you understood now WL by 3, how we have got WL by 3? So because it is a point, yes, understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So because it is a point load, right? It is a point load. So the variation is triangular. Okay, it is triangular. It is straight. Variation is going straight. And then WL by 3 is constant from here to here. And then from here to here, it is decreasing and it is becoming 0 at the support because it is a simply supported beam. Right. So this is how you can draw your BMD. And then we know this distances, it is L by 3, L by 3 and L by 3, right? L by 3, which I have drawn over here. No problem. And once you draw this diagram, you just divide the diagram into triangle and then a rectangle and then calculate area, multiply that by the CG, calculate the area, multiply that by the distance of the CG from the support, distance of CG from the support. That is what we have done over here. Area into X bar for triangle and for the rectangle. Okay, we have found out, we have simplified and we have written over here simplified. And then we have substituted this back into the equation. Okay, deflection equation we have substituted. The only unknown here is W. Okay, only unknown here is W. So we have calculated W as 6.9 kilonewton, 6.9 kilonewton. So I hope it is clear. Is it clear, guys? If you need anything, if you need me to explain any of the part, please let me know. Have you understood, guys? No problem. Sanju, are you there? Ranganath?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Please do not leave your focus. Please be concentrated on the numerical.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The first and second part of the question is very easy. First and second is very easy. Only the third is a bit confusing. Okay. If you practice, it will be clear. Okay. So similar type of problem they'll give you, but the loading condition they will change and they'll give you in your exam. Okay. So practice is important. Sakaitre.
Swag, sir.
Okay. What we'll do is I'll give you this as a homework. You can try at home. I'll just read the statement. I'll tell you how to solve this, and you can practice at home. Okay. No problem. Is it fine? You can do that. You will practice at home.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So rectangular beam, it is a rectangular beam of span 8 meters. Span is given, cross section is given, and then pre-stressed by a parabolic cable. We have a parabolic cable having an eccentricity of 75 mm below the centroidal axis at midspan. Okay, below the centroidal axis, it is having an eccentricity of 75, and then 25 mm above the centroidal axis at support. At support, it is 25 mm above the centroidal axis. P pre-stressing force is given. The beam supports 3-point loads. It supports how many point loads? 3-point loads of 10 kilonewton each. 10 kilonewton each at intervals of 2 meters. At intervals of 2 meters. Okay. Then what you have to do? Neglecting the losses of pre-stress. Neglect the losses of pre-stress. Estimate short-term deflection. First part is estimating short-term deflection, considering what? Dead load and pre-stress. Considering dead load and pre-stress. Do not consider live load in the first case. Next, allowing 20% loss. Allowing 20% loss. Estimate long-term deflection. Estimate long-term deflection. And what you have to consider in long-term? Pre-stress, dead load, and live load. All of these three you have to consider. Okay. 20% loss. 20% loss meaning the effective pre-stress is how much? It is 0.8. Effective pre-stress is how much? 0.8 of initial pre-stress, right? 0.8. So the loss ratio is to be considered as 0.8. Loss ratio is to be considered as 0.8. Okay, the percentage of loss, what you do? From 100, you minus the percentage of loss. You will get the loss ratio. Okay, 80% meaning 0.8. Okay, so this will be useful in your long-term deflection calculation. Okay, so note down this. It is 0.8. Phi is given as 1.8. No problem. Now this is the longitudinal section. Okay, drawn from the given data. So we have 3-point loads equally spaced. Okay, equally spaced, 2 meter interval between each of them. 8 meter is the total span. 75 mm is E2. E1 is 25 mm. E1 is 25 mm. Okay, so how can you calculate short-term deflection? Short-term deflection due to dead load and pre-stress. Okay, dead load, it will be deflection. Dead load DL, it will be equal to what? 5 by 384 WL cube by EI. Okay, you will get the dead load. Okay, plus or minus you can note down. Then dead load deflection due to pre-stressing force. Depending upon the cable profile you have, so it is positive. So the bending moment will be positive for the first diagram, right? This will be positive, and then the second part will be negative. Right, second part will be negative. This is P into E1, and then this is P into what? E1 plus E2. Okay, so using this, you can calculate this. So that is done. Then due to live load, what you have to do? You have to draw the bending moment diagram due to live load. Okay, so this is due to deflection. As I've told you, this is positive, this is negative, and then you can calculate this thing. So this is for the first case. For the second case, deflection due to dead load, no problem. Deflection due to live load, you have to draw this bending moment diagram. Normally, how you solve in your structural analysis, right? Same, you draw your free body diagram, right? You draw your free body diagram. you calculate the reactions, and then you draw the bending moment diagram. You draw the bending moment diagram. It will be in this format. You draw the bending moment diagram. Then what you have to do, you have to calculate this total area, multiply that by the centroidal distance. Okay, you can either separate it into parts, one triangular part, then one rectangular part, and then one more triangular part over here. Okay, you can do that, and then you can calculate. Okay, multiply each of the area by the centroidal distance from the support. Okay, no problem. Then you'll get due to live load, you'll get that due to live load. And then you can substitute for long-term deflection. For long-term deflection, I've told you loss ratio is 0.8. Okay, no problem. Then that is it. That is it. You can try at home. If you have any doubt, please let me know. We'll try to solve in the next class. Okay, it is a very easy problem, hardly 1 or 1.5 page problem. Okay, very easy. This only the tricky part is over here. This part is a bit tricky. Okay, you try to solve. If you don't understand any of it, you can feel free to ask at any time. Okay, so this is regarding a few numericals. We are left out. I think we are done with half of the numericals. We'll be requiring 2 more classes to finish up with your deflection chapter. Okay, we'll be requiring 2 more classes. We have to solve at least 4 to 5 numericals more. Okay, so we have done with half of the numericals. Half of it we'll solve in the next class. So you can start typing in your attendance. Only type in your USN. Okay, only type in your USN. Yes, Devgekar, have you understood? Are you there? Yes. Srinivas,
Yes, sir.
understood, Re?
हाँ sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as I tell after every class, make sure you practice in a notebook. Okay, don't just read whatever I send. Okay, you have to practice. Practice is very important. If you don't practice, you'll face problem in your external. Internal will be no problem. External you will face problem. Okay, make
Yes,
sure you practice. Okay, if you have any other thing, please let me know, or else we can end the session. No problem. Shall we end the class over here? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Once you type in attendance, you can leave the meeting. No problem.